Hi, I'm Jesse. Welcome to your devotion, the final verse of the Gospel of John, here in devotion number 101. Here it is, John 21:25. He has just, I believe, revealed himself, John, as the disciple whom Jesus loved. This is the disciple who testifies to these things and wrote them down. Verse 25. And there are also many other things that Jesus did, which, if every one of them were written down, I suppose not even the world itself could contain the books that would be written. Do you remember when Jesus was talking to his disciples and he said, "You will do even greater works than these"? I mean, this is spoken by Jesus, who had walked on water, who had fed thousands of people, who had commanded Lazarus to come back from the dead, who had resurrected the widow's son. How is it possible that they would do even greater works? Now, the book of Acts is going to be amazing. And you're going to see these same dudes. That's all they are. They're just dudes. Okay? These same people used by God to accomplish phenomenal miracles. But by comparison, who's to say that these things are greater than even what's recorded in the Gospel of John? Here's my interpretation of this. I believe that when someone hears this and believes it by the power of the Holy Spirit and is saved, that is a miracle that is greater than a healing. That is a miracle that is greater than healing someone of leprosy. That's a miracle that is greater than causing the blind to see. Not one of Jesus's physical miracles was merely physical in nature. Every one of them also carried a spiritual significance. They didn't just meet a physical need, they also ministered directly to a spiritual need. All right, Dr. John MacArthur writes, Christ never performed healing miracles merely for their physical benefit. It was never just for the physical benefit. It was also a spiritual need that was being met. These miracles then are innumerable. And John's right. If you were to record all of the testimonies of everyone who's ever been impacted by the ministry of Jesus, then the world would never be able to contain them, because this is a meta nonfiction work. The count that he could give you, the running tally at the time of its authorship, would be constantly running. The only way to do that at the time would be to embed this in a code with a widget that keeps a running tally of the number of people being impacted by the works of Jesus, and it would just never be done. It would never actually be a fixed number, kind of like the national debt right now. Oops. There's a running tally that's constant and innumerable of the number of people who are being impacted by the gospel of Jesus Christ all over the world for thousands of years. There is no book big enough to contain all of these stories, and yours is one of them. Now, how have you, as an evangelist, contributed to this? Do not just take the Gospel of John and consume it. It was written so that people would believe, and by believing have life in his name. So with whom have you shared this today? The reason this is the very first book that we're studying together as the Redemption Church is so that it would be the foundation upon which our evangelistic lives would grow. After this, we're going to the book of Acts, because you're going to see Jesus still in the story. He hasn't ascended to heaven yet. That happens at the beginning of the book of Acts. And thereafter, these jokers are used by God to break history in half. And the church is launched into the New Testament era, and it careens across millennia and an ocean to collide with you today. And it's now your turn with its exact same legacy. You and I, when we share the gospel with someone and we see them saved, we add on to the miracles that could never be contained in books, even if the whole world itself contained such writings. This book, then, these miracles described in the final verse of the Gospel of John, they're still happening right now. You're alive for such a time as this, in the least church city in the U.S. Now, what are you prepared to do? My prayer, that you would light up this darkness. I've said it 101 times. I'll say it again. Light up the darkness.